Welcome to this episode of the Useless Project Show. In this video, we'll take a look at 10 projects that were either never completed or that were completed but ended up being completely useless. Before we begin, kindly support our channel by liking and subscribing, and hit the notification bell to avoid missing our next video. These projects were all started with great fanfare and promise, but they all ended up being either a complete failure or a huge waste of money. So without further ado, let's get started. Project 1. The Millennium Dome. The Millennium Dome was a giant, inflatable dome that was built in London in the year 2000 to celebrate the new millennium. It was supposed to be a showcase for British culture and innovation, but it ended up being a huge flop. Only a few million people visited the dome during its 6-month run, and it cost the British taxpayer over £700 million. Project 2. The Big Dig. The Big Dig was a massive infrastructure project in Boston, Massachusetts that began in 1991 and was finally completed in 2007. The project was supposed to improve traffic flow and reduce air pollution in the city, but it ended up costing over $22 billion and taking 16 years longer than planned. Project 3. The Channel Tunnel. The Channel Tunnel is a 31-mile underwater tunnel that connects England and France. It was supposed to be a major economic boost for both countries, but it has never lived up to its expectations. The tunnel was supposed to be a major transportation hub, but it has been plagued by problems since it opened in 1994. The tunnel has been closed several times due to fires and floods, and it has been criticized for being too expensive and inefficient. Project 4. The Concorde. The Concorde was a supersonic passenger jet that was in service from 1976 to 2003. It was supposed to revolutionize air travel, but it was never a commercial success. The Concorde was expensive to operate, and it was only able to fly between a handful of major cities. Project 5. The Edsel. The Edsel was a car that was introduced by Ford in 1957. It was supposed to be a new kind of car that would appeal to a younger generation of buyers, but it was a complete failure. The Edsel was ugly, unreliable, and overpriced. It was discontinued after only 2 years on the market. Project 6. The DeLorean. The DeLorean was a car that was made famous by the movie Back to the Future. It was supposed to be a luxury sports car, but it was a commercial failure. The DeLorean was expensive to build, and it was plagued by quality control problems. It was discontinued after only 3 years on the market. Project 7. The Segway. The Segway is a personal transportation device that was introduced in 2001. It was supposed to revolutionize transportation, but it has never caught on. There are a number of reasons for this, including the fact that the Segway is expensive. It is not very practical for most people, and it has been the subject of some controversy. The Segway is a very expensive device, costing upwards of $2,000. This makes it out of reach for many people. Additionally, the Segway is not very practical for most people. It is not very comfortable to ride for long distances, and it is not very maneuverable in tight spaces. Project 8. The Google Glass. Google Glass was a wearable computer that was introduced in 2012. It was supposed to change the way we interact with technology, but it was discontinued in 2015. Google Glass was expensive, and it was not very user-friendly. Google Glass was a pair of glasses with a small screen on the top of the right lens. The screen could be used to display information such as the time, weather, and notifications. Google Glass was initially available to a limited number of developers and early adopters. It was not until 2014 that Google Glass was made available to the general public. However, Google Glass was discontinued in 2015 due to a number of factors, including privacy concerns and high price. Google Glass was a promising product, but it was ultimately unsuccessful. Project 9. The Fire Festival. The Fire Festival was a music festival that was supposed to take place in the Bahamas in 2017. It was promoted as an exclusive event with luxury accommodations and world-class entertainment, but it was a complete disaster. The festival was poorly planned and executed, and it was canceled just days before it was supposed to start. Project 10. Theranos. Theranos was a company that claimed to have developed a revolutionary new blood testing technology. It was valued at over $9 billion, and it was backed by some of the biggest names in Silicon Valley. However, it was all a scam. Theranos' technology did not work, and the company was eventually forced to shut down. These are just a few of the world's most useless projects ever created. These projects were all started with great fanfare and promise, but they all ended up being either a complete failure or a huge waste of money. So the next time you see a new project that seems too good to be true, remember these stories and be skeptical. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Useless Project Show. If you did, please subscribe and leave a review. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, please let me know. Thanks for listening.